Welcome to another episode of Adoption in Focus. Today we're joined by Sarah, an adoptive mum of two, who talks to us about her adoption experiences, right from the moment she decided to adopt to now, being used as a bouncy castle by her two children. So Sarah, when did you decide to adopt?
So my story's a bit odd. Initially, I wanted to adopt about 12 years ago, and I started with my local authority. I didn't find them the best, let's say, but circumstances meant I ended up looking after my grandparents, so I put everything on hold to do that. They were in their 90s. So unfortunately, at that time, my adoption dreams, as it um, were paused. And so after they both died, I thought, actually, I can still do this. I can still adopt.
Yeah.
And after the experience I had with my local authority, I thought, I'm not going to go down that route. And so I did a lot of Googling, a lot of research, and I found Adoption Focus, and I haven't looked back. So I started my journey with Adoption Focus. I don't know how long ago, because it seems like I've always been with you.
It does, part of the furniture
Yeah.
now. So how did you did a lot of Googling, a lot of research, found the agency for you? What was the start of that process like for you? That initial kind of conversation? How did it feel? What was it like?
So I can't really remember because it was just in the depths of time. However, I just felt like you as Adoption Focus got me. You understood me. You were embracing that I was going to be a single parent. There was never oh, you don't have a partner. I live with my parents because we all work together. There was never any, you don't live on your own. It was, I found the agency to just be so encompassing and so compassionate. My mum was allowed to come on all the training with me.
She was, I remember her vividly.
So, that was brilliant. Previously, when I'd been with the local authority, I was not allowed to take anyone there to support me. Everybody else who was doing the training was part of a couple. And so, even when you were put into teams to do various activities, it was, these two couples and these two couples, and you can join those as well, Sarah, on your own. And the training is exhausting, and it's mentally exhausting. You're given so much information that you don't necessarily want to hear.
Yeah.
About what might, things with the children. Having somebody to go to be there with you, it means that afterwards you can discuss those things that you heard and you saw, and you're not alone. And I just found that the support and stuff, even that early on with Adoption Focus, was so refreshing. It really was. It just, yeah, you got me.
No, I'm so glad you felt like that. I'm so glad. And why should being a single parent be a barrier to adoption? It takes more than one person, more than two people to raise a child or children. It takes a village. They say that for a reason. But yeah, I remember you having your mum there, and she was great. Somebody to reflect with, isn't it? On
Exactly. And
what does that mean for me? Yeah.
It is hard work, and the fact that the child was going to be living in the house with me and my parents, they needed to know what was going to happen and any potential issues as well. I mean, Mum's read all the therapeutic parenting books, much more than I have. So,
well, that's a mum's job, isn't it?
exactly,
To
she did
tell
the
you what
homework.
to do. I don't know if you can cast your mind back, but what was the whole assessment process like for you? Somebody coming out, learning all about your life. Was that what you expected? Was it good? Was it bad? What was it like?
So I had the same social worker from day one, which was brilliant. I am on various Facebook groups now, and people are saying that they've gone through sort of 7, 8 social workers.
Why?
Is hard work because then you have to explain everything and so on.
Yeah.
So I, although the assessment process is going to be probing, and you have to answer questions that perhaps aren't particularly comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
having a social worker that was understanding, was compassionate, who, although slightly straight laced,
Mm-hmm.
got me and got the situation. And I mean, I ended up seeing Martin for what felt like years, and it probably was years. Um, but it wasn't as awful a process as it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
have all these horror stories about you being sort of probed into, and why this, why that, why the other, and you're being asked the questions for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and you might not see the reason at the time, but it's also for your social worker to get more of an insight into who you are, what you can cope with. Further down the line, when you've been approved to adopt, they can say, well, actually, I don't think this child perhaps is going to be the right fit for you, because
Mm.
they know you, they know what the children have potentially been through,
Yeah.
and they know how resilient you could or couldn't be. And it is probing, it is difficult, but the process is there for a reason.
Absolutely. And so we know how best to support you long term as well. We've got a better idea of who you are, what makes you tick, what bothers you. And so we can think, okay, long term support wise, you might need this from us, or we might be able to help with this. But it is hard bearing all to a stranger.
What I found with Adoption Focus, having the support further down the line, when my children are 16, 17, 18 and something happens, I know that I can pick up the phone and somebody can hold my hand through a nightmare, as opposed to, perhaps a local authority that you're just another case number.
So you did your assessment, you got through it, and then you went to panel. How's that?
Um, it's a bit like going for the biggest job interview of your life,
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
where you sort of know the answers, but if they throw the curveball question in,
Hmm.
um, it's not perhaps these, but it's a means to an end. You know
Yeah,
all the answers. You wouldn't have been put forward to go to panel if your social worker and everybody else didn't think that you could get through it.
absolutely. Yeah,
So it's tough, it's difficult, it's stressful, but it's a means to an end. So
yeah. And you did it, which is why you're here. Which is why you're here today. You got there. And I think sometimes there's you do build yourself up to panel. It's kind of all leading to that moment, and sometimes I think they can feel this sense of right that the hard stuff's done now. But then there's family finding, and I wondered if you could talk me through that, how that felt, what that was like, what happened.
family finding was tough, um, because you don't quite know what you're looking for.
Hmm.
Obviously, you have access to Link Maker, and it is so difficult to look through children's profiles. It's like looking on a dating website. You
Yeah.
might have a picture, you might not. You got some descriptions. Is it the worst case scenario that's being painted? Is it the best case scenario that's being painted? It's so difficult. And I showed interest in a number of children,
Mm-hmm.
and some things came to some social workers requested my my paperwork, others didn't. I think the worst part was if you sort of saw a child, you thought this could be mine, and then the conversation doesn't get started. So you're then chasing, or the family finder's chasing, and the tumbleweed. And you think, well, I don't want to express any more interest in anybody else at the moment because,
Yeah.
but also, I mean, I got sent various profiles of children and I went to a couple of activity days. The activity days were difficult as a single person because most of the
Okay.
people were in couples. So you just had to sort of trail after children, but you had nobody to speak to.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I got sent some profiles of children, and you have to be realistic and that sort of thing, and it's about the children.
That's that's amazing to be able to do that. You're in a process now in family finding where you're looking to make your family complete, but to be able to still be child focused in that's an incredible asset that you've got, Sarah, to be honest. How did that feel, that saying no to a child or children, right, because it's the right thing for them, undoubtedly, but how did that feel for you?
Um, it was difficult,
Mm,
but it wasn't about me. It's nothing to do with this adoption process has ever really been about me. I've always said, even when I started 12 years ago, I said my child may not have been born now, and it turns out they weren't. So it is a case of you have you're going to do the best you can for a child or children,
mm-hmm.
and if you can't do the best you can, then that child isn't right.
Yeah.
I mean, don't
Wow.
get me wrong, my children had me up all night and were using me as a bouncy castle at midnight. However, I could have had birth children who also did that. So, but I know that where I'm bringing them up, they're having a really good time. They're having loving life,
Yeah, and this
and
is
that's
their
more than
family.
exactly, and it's more that they could have had with their birth family.
The realities of parenting. Bouncy castle in at midnight. um, so you're in family finding, kind of, there can be a lot of disappointment. It is a roller coaster. You're expressing interest, waiting for people to come back to you. There's children that just, it's not a right match, and you have to say no. What happened in your story then?
So eventually down the line, I was at work and I got an email about, because I'd also got been open to um, foster to adopt.
Yeah.
So I got an email when I was at work. I wasn't working at home, I was in London. It was a Thursday.
Great.
Got an email and a phone call from Adoption Focus saying, we have this child, would you potentially consider? So I took myself off for 10 minutes, sat down in the sun and read all about him and thought, actually, could be.
Right.
I then sent my mum out to sit in the sun and read all the paperwork. And we said, no, I said, why not?
Right.
So then it all moved quite quickly,
I
to
bet.
say the least,
I bet.
because I went home on the Sunday. I had a meeting with the family finder, with his social worker, with her manager. I think that was on the Monday or Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have been the Tuesday. It's all a blur now.
Yeah.
They then got back to me a couple of days later. Ironically, the day they got back to me, I had also been, I'd shown interest in another little boy, and the family finder rang me up and said, you're the first choice for that little boy as well.
Whoa. What
So that was a difficult. Who do you say no to?
well.
Um, I said no to the other little boy because he wasn't in early permanence,
Hmm.
so he had more chance of being placed traditionally. Um, so unfortunately, the foster carers who were going on holiday, and so everything had to move very quickly.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
went to meet him on the following Sunday.
That's not long at all, is it?
Uh, so I got the okay from Family Finder. I think it was on Thursday. Then it obviously moved quickly with everybody's social workers. So by the Sunday, I went to meet him.
Wow.
Um, then I went up on the Monday and the Tuesday and the Wednesday. I brought him home for a visit on the Thursday, and I went and collected him to live with me forever on the Friday.
Wow. So,
It was a lot of driving,
yeah.
a lot of throwing in the deep end, but as soon as I met him, as soon as I saw his picture, as soon as I met him, I knew that was,
That was your son.
yeah.
Wow. So, with early permanence, and especially that situation you've described where it's very rushed in introductions, that they tend to be quicker and a little bit different. But obviously, it was sped up because foster carers were going on holiday. But what was it like meeting him, being at the foster carer's house? What was that whole experience like?
It was a little bit like being in a dream.
Really?
You'd waited all this time, and then suddenly it was like, there you go,
Here he is.
here he is. When I went into the foster carer's house, he was 17 months old at that point.
Okay.
So I sat on the floor and let him come to me, which, a bit like, if you take a new dog or a cat,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have a sniff round and you just let them do their own thing. And so that's what I did. I just sat on the floor and let him come to me. Obviously, he was still sort of belonging to the foster carers.
Hmm.
They were his caregivers, so he would go to them for reassurance and so on. Um, they also had their own birth children,
Okay.
so they were part of the mix as well. It was just it 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 was a bit of a whirlwind. It was,
Yeah.
I can't believe this is actually happening, and it's happening so quickly. But in a way, it was really good that it happened so quickly because I had to learn
You had no
quickly.
choice.
I could have changed a nappy
Oh
until
well.
I was his. I watched the foster dad change the nappy, and the next time he said, "Here you go, you do it."
Well, that is the deep end, isn't it?
Exactly, but you're having a newborn and you've never perhaps changed a nappy,
No.
so you just have to get on and roll with it. And
Why?
then suddenly, I had a child.
And he was at home.
He was at home.
Wow. What was that early permanence bit like then? That was there a lot of uncertainty about what was going to happen, his future?
There was and there wasn't.
Okay.
He had an older brother who um, lives with his grandparents,
Hmm.
so it was pretty much guaranteed that it would go through. He'd been living with his foster carers for 6 months,
Okay.
and so um, court paperwork and so on was in progress. Unlike with a newborn, when they can come and live with you at 5 days old or
Hmm.
something, and the paperwork hasn't been done, although they obviously will have been to court for the interim
Yeah.
care order. There is more uncertainty with a newborn than there is with a slightly older
Yeah.
child
Yeah.
who has been in foster care or something for a little while. But I mean, it was all just flying by the seat of my pants, really.
Yeah. just had to go with it because he was there.
All of a sudden, I was a mum.
Yeah. Wow. How were your parents in that time?
Um, I think quite overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I mean, as I was, but all of a sudden there was this thing.
Yeah. This being just there. Yeah.
Now he's here and he lives here, and that's it.
Why? So you were thrown in at the deep end.
Yeah,
He's come home, kind of just going with the flow, and you're doing what you need to do. And
yeah,
you said that you knew kind of from the moment that you saw his profile, but definitely when you met him, that he was your boy.
yeah.
Um, what what was it like over time? How did your relationship change, develop?
I'm mummy. I'm mummy. That's
That's enough
it.
said, isn't it?
Um, yeah.
I could cry now. Thanks, Sarah.
Don't focus. I don't do crying.
No, I know, I know, I know. I'm gonna rein it in. So, but you didn't stop there, did you?
Oh no! Why would you stop
Why?
there?
Why? So what
So,
happened?
so when Leo came to me, I knew that his birth mother was pregnant. Um,
Okay.
so there was always a possibility. Now, I'd only been approved for one child. I'm a single child myself. I'd only ever wanted one child.
Yeah.
So I said because luckily both children had the same social worker as well for the whole period. So I got to know her very well. Um, but I was plan B.
Mm.
I always told them I was plan B. Plan A was for her birth family because it was a different biological father.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was always plan B. Difficult as it could have been for that, it's the priority, the best case scenario is that the child stays with birth family.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
So they had the assessments. I knew about her. I was in contact with the foster carer,
Mhm.
and through their social worker, I got pictures and so on. So from the foster carer, Leo knew about baby sister,
Okay.
but we just kept it as you have a baby sister.
And did he take
Um,
take that, like accepting of that?
he was. It took him a while.
Yeah, it's a big
It was just.
concept.
It was just something that It was mentioned,
That's perfect.
just like we mention his other sibling, his older brother. And then the time came, and birth family weren't suitable, weren't interested,
Okay.
and so I became Plan A.
Ooh.
And so this was more of a traditional route.
Okay.
Um, so went to matching panel as you traditionally would
Yeah.
before anything happened, and then we started introductions.
Whoa.
Took Leo to meet his baby sister. Obviously, by that time, I knew that she was coming here, so that's when he started to get really excited about baby sister,
Oh.
and that's what he still calls. So even at school, he says my baby sister.
Oh, that's lovely.
At school, they try to correct him, but it's she's baby sister.
Oh, that's what he
Yeah.
wants to call her. How old were they both at this point?
So when she came to live with me, she was 11 months old, and Leo was not. I can't.
That's okay. They were both under 2.
Yeah.
That's a
Um.
lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Wow.
So it was. No, he must.
Oh, he
Was
must
he
under
must have been
3.
3?
They were
Yeah,
both under 3.
he was 3, but they were born so that they would have been 2 under 2.
Why?
Um. And that was a challenge.
Okay.
Obviously, we did the more traditional. So we went up to see her, and then I went up for a couple of days and spent time with the foster carer
Okay.
and did this sort of more traditional taking her out on my own, spending time. Of course, it was a weekend that it snowed very heavily, so we didn't really go out.
Well, no.
We mostly just hunkered down and hung out. But because I'd had these sort of bump-ins beforehand, I had met her probably half a dozen times before the official introduction
Okay.
started.
Yeah, so she was familiar with you, it wasn't? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had the sort of early bump-ins and so on, and with Leo because they are half siblings. So if something happened and later down the line I had been plan B, they had already met
Yeah, that's important.
before the decision had been made.
Yeah.
So at least they had photos together and things. Because obviously, if she was moved into a different family, the contact might have been difficult or might have been,
Yeah, not
it might not have
possible.
happened.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that was a more traditional route. She came to me in December
Oh,
last year.
great.
Yeah.
Just before Christmas.
So she came home in December, which obviously then Christmas was a challenge
I bet.
because manic present buying.
Yeah.
What do you get for a 1-year-old? What does she really like? What does she need? Can she just have Leo's old
Yeah.
toys? I mean, they both ended up with so many toys. It's ridiculous. We're still sorting through them and half the family. But it was a challenge,
I bet.
and however, getting her here before Christmas made it. Had it not been before Christmas, it would have ended up being sort of February with
Oh,
all
wow.
the bank holidays and all the time off and
Okay.
so on and so forth. So, yes, it was stressful. Yes, it was exhausting. No, I still haven't caught up on the sleep that I
No.
lost there. However, um, we got through Christmas. We survived. Um,
Mm,
but we're all
But
right.
everybody's safe.
No,
Everybody's
no
okay.
more tears than normal.
No, it's just Christmas. It was Christmas without
Exactly.
tears. And so now they're both there, and
They're both here.
it's life together. And what?
Yeah, it's sort of what 15 months on with both of them.
And what is that like?
It is
Yeah,
exhausting.
yeah.
It is chaotic, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely.
Unfortunately, birth mother has now had another baby,
Oh, wow. Okay.
just to throw another spanner in the works,
Okay.
who was born less than 13 months after.
Right.
Luckily, I said two's enough.
I think that's a wise decision.
So I was never in the running, as it were, to have her next child.
Okay.
But they were both placed from birth. So we have been up and seen him and hung out, and that was lovely. But he has now gone to his forever family.
Wow. Okay. And will there be any?
I'm hoping for contact. He went to live with them in February, so it's still
They need some
early.
time.
It's early days for doing all the paperwork and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. So,
But
but they know we exist.
but how lovely for for you two that it's always just been a natural part of conversation about siblings at different points. That they're still young to kind of deep it, but it's just natural. It's just there, and I think
We've
that's
got we've got a picture of or a couple of pictures of their older brother up,
oh
so
wow.
they can see him. They may not know who he is. Occasionally, Leo asks, "Who's that?" and I'll tell him. Um, but he had another. Oh, he has another family. He had another family.
Yeah.
He had other people in his life. There's no point trying to deny that later on down the
Oh,
line.
absolutely.
If you're open and honest that this is how life started and it wasn't easy, it's easier to then answer the questions later in life. It's not a
Absolutely.
big shock. It's not a surprise. Just it's part of their life story.
Yeah. And I think it might make it easier for you as their mum it's not this big revelation, this weight on your shoulders. You've started the conversations, so it's natural, and you follow on.
Exactly. And most of the school mums know that they're adopted. That there's no point keeping that a secret,
No.
because when he starts engaging and talking about it with his peers, as will she, it's not oh my god, did you know?
Guess what? Yeah.
It's just it's part of life.
And you know what? It is something to be celebrated in so many ways. Of course, there's difficult histories. There's a lot of things that come with adoption for our children that are difficult. But also, there's a lot to celebrate about them and who they are and how resilient they are, and that they were chosen to be part of a family. Like, there's a lot of good in that.
Absolutely. And how they came to be with you.
Yeah.
Yes, the circumstances were difficult to start with, but I would love to meet Birth Mum, but she's not in a position to meet. But I want to meet her to be able to tell the children, I have met your mum and she was amazing and she did everything she could to keep you, but she wasn't in the right place.
No, no. But what a way to just embrace your children, that is. The fact that you even want to is incredible.
Of course, because it's not to do with me. It's nothing to do with me. I am just bringing up two amazingly awful, difficult, lovely children that I didn't happen to give birth to.
Yeah, yeah. Amazingly awful. I'm
Yeah,
gonna steal that. I love that. I love that. Um, if you were to give someone thinking about adoption a piece or a couple of pieces of advice, what would it be?
do it. That's all. Do it. It will be hard. It will be stressful. You will question everything about yourself, why you went down this route,
Mm.
what made you think it was a good idea. That's before and after the children. Go on as many holidays as you can while you're in the process,
Yeah.
because sleeping on a sun lounger doesn't happen with children. Um, just, it's a little bit like challenging yourself. And if it gets too much, you can take a break. You can
Yeah.
have take some time. If family finding's difficult, speak to your social worker, speak to people, discuss things with as many people as you can. I mean, I would go to the pub while I was family finding and tell my friend all about these amazing children that I'd seen and some of the hardships that they'd gone through. And she doesn't want to adopt, she doesn't want children, but she was so empathetic to the needs and wants of these poor children. That sounds awful, that sounds so condescending. But these children that have no choice in how their life started.
Yeah. It doesn't sound awful. We talk all the time about our children things are done to them, decisions are made about them. There is no control, no choice, no say. So, that you're
But
right.
that's where you as an adopter can change things. You can let them know early on that they had a different start in life to normal people.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a friend who didn't know that I'd adopted, and there was three of us in the pub, and my other two friends were saying how much their children weighed when they gave birth, and I said, well, I've no idea how much they weighed. I wasn't there. And the look on her face was horror. And then I explained that I'd adopted, and she said, "Oh my God, I'm adopted."
No.
So that, people you don't necessarily know, think of,
Yeah,
and again, that opens conversations. But that's
absolutely.
always a good line that you've no idea how much they weighed because you weren't there.
I love that. Just the shock
It just
factor.
exactly,
It's one of the perks of being an adopter. Just to
yes,
throw,
absolutely.
throw these little shocks out at people. So, Sarah, it's been a pleasure. I've laughed, I've nearly cried, but not quite. Um, but it's been great. Thank you so much.
Well, I hope that I might have answered some people's questions and maybe inspired just one person to look at adoption and go for it. And thank you, of course, to Adoption Focus for being amazing through everything.
That was a really honest picture of the adoption process and parenting from Sarah, full of ups and downs, but the rewards endless. A huge thank you to Sarah for joining us and sharing her experiences. If you have any questions or want to join us, then don't hesitate to contact us at podcast@adoption-focus.org.uk.